If you are a game master, publisher or content creator for virtual tabletop games and you're looking forward to take your creativity to the next level, this video is made just for you. Because today I will give you an overview of the latest updates and features in the AI tools of Cibola 8, and I will show you how you can create content for all game systems in Foundry VTT within just a few clicks. To do so, we'll be creating a small mini adventure together in this Let's Create. And it has the topic robbery because I want my players to be confronted with some bad people after a happy evening in a local tavern. The setting for today's video is Dungeons and Dragons, but as said, this will work for all game systems on Foundry VTT, so I'm sure you will love it. Let's get it started. At this point, I don't have too much of an idea of what the final adventure will look like, so I will use this to give you an impression of one of the first tools we integrated, and this is threads. If you click on the Cibola Master AI interface, you always had the option to start a chat with ChatGPT in the Foundry chat window. You can just ask it something and it will answer. But now we also have the option to generate conversations directly into your journal, and this is really great because the nice thing about those threads is that ChatGPT always remembers what you were talking about and you can always get back to it to ask some questions. So I will use this to define the adventure we're going to create, and the first thing I want to do is create a new page. I will call it the heist, and I will select threads as a type. And now I will create this and save the entry, and we're good to go. For the beginning, I already prepared a prompt. It's quite simple one, as you will see, and I asked the AI that my players are in a tavern in Dungeons and Dragons where they won an artifact called the Dragon's Eye. Now I want some street robbers who try to steal it back. Do you have any ideas? So I will send this and we will see what the AI does with this information. And to be clear about that, this is only to set a context for the further conversation, so you will see how we redefine the prompts and how we use the information we get back to train the AI as long as we need to get a good result. So let's have a look on what it gave to us. Here is a bit of an overview, here is an introduction of the robbers and some more information. You can read through that and find the inspiration that you need. But in our case, I will just keep on working with ChatGPT and I will get all the information it made up so far at a later point. To begin, I want to know which scenes I need, so I will ask the AI just that. And here I have the answer. So I need the tavern scene, I need some map elements like the bar area, entrance and exit points, buildings nearby. Okay, so basically it gives me a lot of ideas to think about. So now I will take the command and I will tell that I want to do it with two scenes. I want one theater of the mind and one battle map. So I write, I only want one theater of the mind and one battle map. What should I choose? We will see what it's answering. Alright, so the suggestions is to have a theater of the mind of the tavern, and I should have a battle map of the interior of the tavern as well. So let's start with the theater of the mind. Give me the name of the tavern and describe the theater of the mind. Here it is. So the Gilded Griffin is the name of our tavern, and we have the image prompt. Next thing, I will generate this scene. So I go to the Master AI interface again and generate a new scene, and I will call it the Gilded Griffin. I don't need a specific folder to have it saved in, and I will jump to the main editing window. This can be closed, and I now copy the image prompt and I put it into the description field after hitting the generate button. So of course, as always, you have the option to select an AI for what you want to do. I will go with Flux Pro Ultra. I like it and it's a nice AI, but of course you can try experiment around a little bit until you find an AI which fits your needs. So I have the prompt now and I will improve it, although it already looks almost perfect. We'll just see what happens if we do so. And now I also have the option to use the batch mode to get a quicker result. The prompt is improved. I want to have 3 variants of that, and I go for image generation. I have to confirm how much mana it will use, and it starts. And here they start coming in. So this is our tavern. They all look nice, I think. You see I have 3 images and image styles to pick from. I like all of them. Okay, but for this case, let's go with this one, just as it's the last. It's not better or worse than all of the others. But for example, one thing I didn't do was select an image type like Theater of the Mind. I could also do this to get even better results, and I didn't change the aspect ratio. So that's an opportunity to show you another cool function of Cibola 8, because now I spontaneously decided that I want to have a widescreen image. So I will first save this. So we have the Gilded Griffin as a scene now, and I can view this scene in the background. Let's have a look. I will show you. This is how it's looking like. But now I decide that I want to have it in a wide angle shot so that it's more of it visible in my scene. So I click on the scene again, I go to Cibola, and I will now expand the image. And to do so, select the expand version, and I will give it, let's say, 1000 pixels to the left and 1000 pixels to the right. And I can also describe what I want to be filled in there. So I can say a gambling table, some orcs, some other fancy stuff. But I will just go with the standard. I will just expand this image, and I will click on image generation so we see what we get. And here it is. This is looking nice. So as you see, it is always possible to expand and change everything in an image afterwards. And this is not only working with images you generated, but also with the image you already have saved there. So that's really an amazing function. And that's of course not all of it. For example, I can now remove this second bird above the chimney. Let's say I don't like this, so I will remove it. I can open the remove tool and I can just mark it and get rid of it. And here it's coming. As you see, the bird is away now. I could have also replaced it, for example, with a knight or with anything else using the replace tool, but this is a tavern alike, so I will save it now. And here we have it. I can center it again, and we have a tavern scene which is looking beautiful. Alright, so let's go for the next step, and the next thing I need to create is the artifact, I guess. So I will go back to my threads conversation by entering my journal, and here I will ask the AI to give me a description of the artifact. And here is our image description. So now I can copy this. Alright, and I can go back to the Cibola AI master interface and generate a new item. The category will be loot in this case. I don't need a specific folder, and I create it. Okay, of course, first we can rename this item. I will do this quickly. So it is called the Dragon's Eye. And then we can go for description. We can copy the description to this as well, but I don't want to do this now, so this is fine as it is. So now let's create it. Again, I can click on the generation button. I can select an AI model which I want to use. I will go with, let's say, this one, and I can enter the image prompt I got. I can also improve the prompt, and I can select that I want 2, let's say 3 variants of it. As we're using the Pro Tools of Cibola 8, it is easy to batch mode. So we have a nice selection we can then choose from. I click on image generation, and here we go. First one is already done. Okay, Dragon Eye 1, 2, 3. I can show you another cool trick with that as well. So they all look nice. I can use them as items. I can now, for example, remove the background and I can save it. But before I do so, I will show you how there is an alternative way to generate a more different approach. And this is also a batch mode, but it's a batch mode with prompt generation. So if I go back to the AI model selection, in this case let's take DALL-E for example, then I can click on this small plus in the prompt window, and I can tell the AI that I wanted to write a prompt. I will select 4 choices this time, and I will tell it that I need an artifact called the Dragon's Eye in Dungeons and Dragons. And when I click on create prompt set now, this is what will happen. The AI will create 4 different prompts which could describe an item like this. So I click on it and you will see that 4 tabs will appear in the top right corner of the prompt window, and each of them will contain the new prompt. All those prompts can now be specified. I can edit each and every one of them, and I can also improve them by using the improve prompt function individually. So I can change stuff in the prompt, I can improve it, and I can even do some kind of reverse engineering. I will show you that in a second. So now I have 4 different prompts for an object called the dragon's eye. I will also just let it be generated, that you see what it does. And here it goes, and as you see, those items are completely different than the 3 ones I did before, and keep in mind how that happened. The first 3 was the same prompt with the same AI, but just different approaches. So you would suggest that the AI brings similar or comparable results whenever it uses the same prompt. In the second case now, I used entirely different prompts. The first one was a gemstone, the second one was a scroll, so now the dragon's eye has much more variance to it. Of course, here are some details I would not like if I use this as an item, for example those dices, but as you saw before, I can easily remove them. This is a glove now, so as you see, it varies a lot and you can always find something and even get some inspiration if you don't know where to go. I want to show you one last function, so let's take for example this and save it as the item. I don't like it the most, but it's for demonstration. And if I go to generation now, I can also use this image I already have. For example, I can use the sketch function. I can select a style or something which should be improved or which should be changed. I can also use different structure options, and I can use kind of reverse engineering I was introducing to you before. So if I have this image here and I select an AI, this time let's go for this model, then I can use this small button down here and it will describe the current image. So now an AI is analyzing what is already visible and will turn this into a prompt. So if you have an existing image you don't like, it is also possible to turn this to a prompt, modify it and generate it again. And here is the description. I will generate this description as well, and we will see how this matches to the original image, which was this one up there. And as you saw, this newest creation is orientated on the ones which were analyzed for generating the prompt. So you will for sure get an item that's absolutely amazing if you play around with those functions a little bit, and also consider using images you like, maybe from the gallery, for example. Here you can access the gallery of yourself and also of the community, and you can just develop this image to a point where you really love it. So now we have our item. I will save this one as an icon, and what I would need next would possibly be some kind of battle map as well as the robbers themselves. So let's start with the robbers next. I say that I want to have a description and a biography for the 3 robbers. And here is the description. So we have 3 of them. There is a half orc, and there is a human, and there is a dwarf. So 3 robbers with description, with biography, and we can continue to generate them like we did with the scene. So just copy the name, go to Cibola, select actor and generate, give him a name, select the type of character and the folder and create it. Next thing, we go for the description here, copy that, go to generate new image, select an AI, and here we go, character, let's do 2 of them and generate the image. Then select the one you like most. This is our first image, beautiful. Let's wait for the second one as well. Here it is. This is the second one. So right here now you see that the background is messed up. I would try to remove the background, then I would expand the image to the left side so he gets a complete arm, and then you could maybe use it, but I will go with this one now. Again, I can show you the expand function because it will work with this character as well. I need some legs and foot for him, so I will increase the image by 1000 pixels to the bottom. And I can then select the image, crop it and use it as I want to. So I will save this now. This is my first of the 3 robbers. I will do something else directly in the beginning. So after closing all this, here is my robber. I will do a right click and open tokenizer just to make sure that I have a nice token for him as well. I re-import the image and add a frame. Let's go for this one. Let's adjust that a little bit. This is fine, so I can apply that, and now I can bring this guy to the scene. So the grid is not set up in the correct way. Now we go to this page and configure the grid, but I will have to do a battle map anyway. Let's go for a 500 grid, and here he is. So that's nice. Here is our token, and now I will show you how you can use this token on a battle map. So we will create a battle map, and we will also add some more details to this guy as long as we're working with him. But first let's do the 2 other ones. So I jump back to my thread, and towards their description I take the name of the next, which is Lyra. I add her as an actor, also non-player character, no specific folder, and here we go. So close this and take the description out of the chat. I will copy it, go to generation, select an AI. Let's do 2 variants in this case again, and here is the prompt. And we generate the image. And again, one of them seems to be already messed up, although I can again, for example, crop something. This one is better, but also not perfect, but we can use this anyway. So I will crop the right part of it, as you see, like this, and I crop a little bit more because you see this small black frame on the right side. If I would cut this black frame with the image, the AI will probably continue the wrong way. But in this case I want to expand the image again, and I will add a little bit to the right side, like 200 pixels for example. And I can generate it so she gets a full arm, hopefully. Seemed to work beautiful, that's alright. Okay, the sword is a little bit weird though. I can remove this as well, so just let's get rid of the part which looks a bit crazy. That's this one. And we also remove this blade down here. Alright, that should be it. And we will leave this, I will show you why in a second. Nice, it's removed, and now we will do a replace here. Well, that was wrong. So we go to replace, and now I will use this rest that remained in her hand, and I give her a knife. And here we go. As you saw, it's pretty easy to adjust those pictures later. There's a bit more which could be done, but I don't mind now. So I will use this image for her, and I have my second character ready, and go for the 3rd one now. Close this as well, and the last one is Thrine Iron Fist. So this is the dwarf we're generating. An actor again. And the description. Oh, I closed the window, but as you saw, it's already generated, so here it is. I can also access the Cibola editing menu when I click on the Cibola button in the image itself. So now I can go to generation again, select an AI. Let's go for this. And we can do the character of our second Valiant. Looks like we're getting a one-shot this time, so this one looks nice. What's the second one? We will see, but I can keep this guy, and I can take this one as well. Okay, he has his name on the hammer, and the hammer looks a bit weird, but I showed you how to modify or replace that. You can get rid of the text with the remove tool, you can change the weapon or whatever, but I don't want to make this video too long, so I will save him as he is. Again, now it would be possible to add a token to the character artwork, but I can also show you something which is quite cool. You can even replace the background of those characters. So for example, if I open that and it looks a bit too much of a studio for me, I even have the option to replace the background of the image. So I can write that it's an image of a standing woman. And I can tell the AI what I want to be changed. So I will say I want to have her in a dark street in a fantasy city. And then I can generate the image, and you will see that this background will be changed, which gives the character a more immersive look. Here she is. Amazing, isn't it? So as you saw, everything is changeable, everything is replaceable and editable if you work with Cibola, and we only have one thing which is missing so we can get our adventure started. And the last thing I need is a battle map of the inside of the tavern, and I will do this by generating from scratch because there are some functions which I didn't show you so far. So the first thing I want to do is use gallery as a selection for the image, and now within this gallery I will have a look for an image that I can use as a sketch. For example, I will take this one as it is already a building. So here is a map which was already in the gallery, and I will open that and I will call the scene battle map of the bar. And this will be also in no folder, and I create it. So now I have an image which I selected from the gallery. If you want to change it, you can access the gallery all the time by using the gallery button. As you see, there's a lot of stuff inside. This is stuff that I created, but there is also a community gallery where you will find beautiful pictures. I mean, look at that. That's really amazing. Someone seemed to use the batch mode as I do and generated some icy creatures. Thank you very much for sharing. They look amazing. This is a nice guy. So always have a look at the gallery if you're searching for some inspiration. And I will go back to the editing now. So this is the floor plan, and now I want to turn this into a battle map of a medieval tavern. So I will copy the structure of it, and I will tell the AI that it should be the top-down floor plan of a medieval tavern as a battle map for virtual tabletop. And then I will generate the image. Okay, here we go. That's okay, it's not too bad. The style is a bit fancy. I can now change the style as well, or I can clean up a little bit. Maybe remove some of those chairs or of something which I don't need to be in the tavern with the remove tool, or even put something in with InPaint or replace. But it's working for me, I think. So I will save this now for the new scene, and I will also use this scene and activate it. So here we are. Let's zoom in. If the image is not sharp enough for what you want to do, you always have the option to upscale the image or even creative upscale it. If you use the creative upscaler, for example, you can tell him that he should change something like the look. You can tell it should be a rotten tavern, or it should be shaped a different way. And if you use the sketch function in general, you also have the option to give additional information to quickly change this map without changing the layout. But there's also a classic upscaler. It will just increase the amount of pixels so the map gets more sharp. But okay, this is fine so far. There's one last thing I want to show you, and this is again connected to the characters, because if I place our character now, I again will have to change the grid size a little bit. So I do this. Let's go for 200. Okay, this is fine. So here we have the character. It's a bit too big, I think, but doesn't matter. So now what I can do is give this character a real character and also a voice. And I can do so by opening the threads in the first time. And here I could also open a new page for this character, and I can tell ChatGTP that it should behave like this individual guy. So I could copy the description and the biography, and I can tell the AI that she should behave like this person. And that's great when it comes to improvisation, because then I can go back to the chat and ask ChatGTP, for example, for suggestions for behaviors, things he can say, etc. pp. But what I want to do in this case instead is give him a voice, and therefore I have to right click the token and open the talking token function. And here I can select a voice for him from different categories, as well as from age, gender, or anything else. It's even possible to do really strange voices and invent new ones on your own. So here are several voices you could use. This is a monster. You can click the play button so you hear how they sound. I will just play this for you.
You think you faced fear? I am fear, the shadow behind your eyes, and now you belong to me.
That's not even too bad for an orc. It's at least a little bit creepy. So I will go with that, and I will make him say, "Give me the dragon eye or I will take your life." Great, then we can generate this and it will automatically be attached to the token as soon as it's done. And now he has a voice, so when the players meet him, he can tell them that they should
give me the dragon eye, or I will take your life.
That's nice, isn't it? So now we set up an entire adventure. Of course, we didn't finish the tokens for the last 3 characters, but as you saw before, this is something which can easily be done. So if you want to do so, open Tokenizer, reopen the image and add a frame to it, this one, and then adjust the image as long as you need until it fits your imagination. So that's it, we can save this token and then she is ready to be on the map as well. And now the last one, it was our dwarf. We can again modify him and give him a different background, but I can do this on my own as well. So far I gave you an overview of the generation options in Cibola 8. There are some things we didn't introduce in this video, like the translation or localization function, or the possibility to create audios as a narration, for example, for an introduction of a scene or a map. We generated a beautiful tavern. I think I have it somewhere here. So it was this one. And we expanded the image and worked around with it a little bit and did the same with our characters as well. I hope you agree that Cibola 8 is getting more and more value for the use in Virtual Tabletop with every week. If you have any comments or suggestions, it would be great if you share it with us, as well as this video. It takes us a lot of time and effort to improve Cibola 8 and we really hope that you benefit from it. So it would be really great if you could also support us on Patreon. I wish you a lot of fun and success using those tools and see you in the next video.